right, and we are live. So, what's going on, guys? It's Nathan. We are trying a new sort of segment for our traditional podcast. This is Hyperspace Hype 101 or one on one, where I'm going to be chatting with guests that we have on, and I'm excited for today's guest that we got. Cool friend of mine. His name is Chainsaw Reacts.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh boy, this is fun. He asked me a couple days ago. He's like, "Hey, would you want to be on?" Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's talk some Star Wars.
I know you had messaged me a little while back. It's like we should do something like this sometime. And I was like, wait, I do this now.
I mean, I like the concept. One-on-one, just talking whatever. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. The Clone Wars and the High Republic being announced. So definitely a lot of stuff to dive into.
Oh yeah, there's so much stuff. So I figure kicking off, since it is a one-on-one type deal, asking you your whole Star Wars experience stuff. I wanted to ask, what was your first initial introduction to Star Wars, from your start of it to where you got here?
My first introduction, I think, when I was 6, I think. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday was A New Hope. Saturday evening was Empire, and then the Sunday was Return of the Jedi. And these were the special editions, so I didn't see the originals until later. Right. But Mom introduced me. I think I'm trying to think if it was my first stepdad or because my dad wasn't there because they had already divorced. I know, again, first of all, but that's where it started, and I instantly fell in love. And I really thought the reveal of Vader was pretty cool. I wish I remembered exactly how I responded to that reveal, but I don't remember exactly. But I just know that it was an experience. And then from there, it was, just keeping up and watching the films again. And then I saw Revenge of the Sith in the theaters. I didn't see Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones in the theaters, but I saw Revenge of the Sith with my dad. And at the time, I'm like, this is what I needed. But then I start to, I don't have a hate for the prequels. I just feel like they could have been handled differently. Sure. But yeah, I mean, we started our potential production company based off Star Wars fan films. So with my passion is there. And regardless of how I feel about how Disney's been handling Star Wars, which is kind of mixed with Solo. It was okay, but there's some stuff they did where they gave Solo his name. I'm like, sure. But then Rise of Skywalker, I wasn't the biggest fan of overall, but at the end of the day, I love Star Wars, and I can't get enough of it. There's days where I'm like, I gotta learn more. I just have those moments. So, yeah.
All right. It's interesting. We don't your presence has drawn a bigger audience than normal, so that's fun. Hello everybody, Fernando.
What's up? Yeah, Fernando's one of my mods. He's always following my shit.
Dragon Knight, Brandon, one of my co-hosts. Hello. Hero's Journey. What's up, guys?
Be sure to force push the like button. That's a good point. Be sure to force push the like button.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's been exciting times. A lot of crazy journey going throughout Star Wars. Another big thing that goes on is the TV shows. Are you into any of those?
Oh, yes. I remember watching the Clone Wars on Netflix. I didn't get to them when they were airing originally. And the Clone Wars now, the final season has been pretty fun. I'm really excited for Ahsoka because I know she's returning in the next episode. That's what I'm really looking forward to the most, is seeing that. I got into Rebels. I have not passed the Siege of Lothal Part 2, which I reacted to a couple weeks ago. But I really enjoy the show. I know most of the spoilers based off Twitter and stuff, but The Mandalorian, perfection. Just, I mean, come on. The child. But I mean, it was so fun to kind of see them tell a long formatted story, live action, but also have some things where they were able to kind of sidestep a little bit and just do something a little bit different that kind of ties into the main story, but also kind of, it just steps outside of the main storyline like a filler. But it wasn't so much like a filler. It didn't feel like it at times. But I'm really curious to see where we go in terms of season 2 of Mandalorian, and of course with Cassian Andor coming up and Obi-Wan. There's a lot to look forward to in live action Star Wars TV. I think that's going to be the main thing for Disney, is that they're going to focus on the TV side, and the movies will get focused, but I feel like they're going to focus more on the television for Disney Plus. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Clone Wars has been real fun since it's come back. It's big time considering it's because for a time it was canceled, and then now we're bringing it back to wrap things up in the final season.
And it's crazy how literally there was rumors and rumblings before the 10-year anniversary panel at Comic-Con San Diego that you want to be there. And then they announced at the end, oh, by the way, after spending an hour reminiscing of a 10-year anniversary, the show's coming back. So it's pretty awesome. So that's great. Oh, yeah.
Fernando brings up a good point. I can put it on the screen here. And hopefully Disney get the crew back together for Obi-Wan, because with the whole virus stuff going on, things are
even before that, I think the show kind of was on hold because of scripts or whatever. So it's weird because they said at D23 in last year in August that the scripts were done. The scripts were not done. There was a bold-faced lie. The scripts were not done. There was issues. I don't know. I feel like Ewan McGregor's trying to be nice about it around the time when people were asking him about it. He's like, no, nothing's wrong with it. But the scripts we were told for a long time before the 23 announcement, before it was officially confirmed, that the scripts were done. And now you're saying the script issues. So, did something happen in the process of when the scripts were done that people went back and went, I don't know. But that's what I'm most excited for, is Obi-Wan. Please make it good.
Obi-Wan's the whole concept of him watched over Luke has always been fascinating. I'm hoping we could get some Qui-Gon moments, maybe.
Ooh, I mean, he did. He's not. He wouldn't be an actual Force ghost unless they retcon that. But he would be a voice in the Force, which is still cool.
Yeah.
That
is because I know end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda does set up teaching communications with Qui-Gon.
Yeah, and in Clone Wars, they set up where Yoda learns how to do and he went to Dagobah. Is it right? Is that the wait? Is that the correct planet
that Yoda goes?
Yeah, Yoda goes to, because that's where he's at when they find him in the original trilogy. But he goes there in one of the lost episodes of Clone Wars from the voice of Qui-Gon for them to learn how to become one with the Force in terms of Force Ghost. So they found a way to kind of intertwine that, because they were supposed to do more in Revenge of the Sith in terms of Yoda with the Force Ghost, but I guess Lucas or something, they just didn't do it. So in the Clone Wars television show, they brought it back in. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I love that stuff. Just diving into the Force. It's my favorite stuff with Star Wars. Alex Doe asked, do you think Boba Fett will show up in The Mandalorian?
No. I feel like it's something to where if we're going to see Boba Fett, it's going to be in a movie. If we see him again. I could be wrong, though. They could reference him in a sense in The Mandalorian. I mean, they're both Mandalorians. So maybe they'll reference him. I don't think we'll ever see him, but they might say his name because of his infamy, essentially, of his, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Because, you think he's a one-and-done thing within the original trilogy, but then they bring in the father, Jango Fett. So it's it ties in. So who knows? Maybe Boba Fett had a kid. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring in Django. 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 Bring Quentin Tarantino to do Django.
Well, he couldn't do actual Django because he did die.
No, I mean with a D, Django Unchained or whatever it's called. Yeah, Quentin Tarantino, do that. Just switch it up.
It's crazy. I've seen a lot of people 50-50 on Boba Fett showing up or not, just because of fan service type stuff, which
at this point it feels like it would be fan service because we've waited forever to hear what happened to him, and there's always been little hints and vagaries of, is that Boba Fett's armor over there? Is this what this ties into? I feel like at this point leave it as a mystery. If you reveal it, then it kind of takes the wind out of the sail, essentially, of the mystery of Boba Fett. Just leave it as is,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So in Star Wars discussion, do you have any do you have a favorite memory associated with Star Wars?
A favorite memory. I would have to say it was probably probably watching the original trilogy with mom. Like finally discovering that whole thing. Also, I remember having fond memories of playing some of the games back in the day, like on the GameCube and stuff way back in the day.
Yeah.
I think it's called Jedi Outcast 2, I think. And like I played some of the story in it or something, but mainly what I did was on GameCube, I would put that game in. I would jump into a lobby with like 10 or 12 or however many other computer generated characters and just run around with different lightsaber attachments and lightsaber like dual wielding and stuff and just fighting a bunch of just random lightsaber stuff and force lightning and all that kind of, it was just fun. But I mean, in Battlefront, the original Star Wars Battlefront 2,
For sure.
that was the stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of good memories, but those are some of the ones that really stood out that made me love and appreciate the whole thing of Star Wars even more. Is definitely those. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember. It was a cool time because I remember my dad took me to see Revenge of the Sith back when I was playing, and then 10 years later, Force Awakens was coming out, and they were hosting a marathon of 1 through 7, and I took him to that. So it was surreal being in the same theater watching the same film from 10 years ago at the point.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, you know?
Yes.
Like I thought about doing that when they had that in my area, but I'm like, I wish I had the time. I just don't. But The Force Awakens was really fun. That was like one of the last times that we had no assigned seating here yet. We were still in that area where you had to show up. We luckily got the last 3 seats that were just far back enough to where we didn't have to sit like that and lean all the way back because we're so in front. But it was so fun to see everybody returning, and bummed out Luke was at the very last second. But I mean, overall, I enjoyed what they did with that movie. It's just unfortunate how it kind of went from there. But I digress. Force Awakens, I really like how they started the new trilogy for sure.
Oh yeah, it's a great kickoff. Do you have would you say that's your favorite of the Disney movie era?
I would say yes, because I like Rogue One, but I think what I like most about Rogue One is the fact they took the risk of killing everybody. We knew they were, but we weren't sure. Like at one point, they weren't going to kill everybody, but then they're like, everybody has to die though, so they killed everybody off. Right. It's the Vader moment. It's the reshooting, and they added that Vader moment, and it changed the whole film. If that was not in the film, I think a lot of people would say it's an average Star Wars film. But adding that little Vader scene, and even the Vader scene talking to Krennic, it adds so much to that movie because it sets up how the original trilogy is going to unfold. Because you saw how mad Vader was and mowing down all those rebels trying to get to those plans, and he didn't. And then it ties beautifully right into A New Hope. It's so seamless. Like you can watch them back to back with no pauses, and it's so smooth. It's ridiculous how they were able to pull that off. The Force Awakens, I think, is to me the best because so many great Han and Chewie moments. I think Rey was such a great mysterious character. My only gripe is that I wish when the lightsaber jiggled in the snow and it flew back, Luke would have caught it. I think that would have really. I mean, it's a fan service thing that people wanted, but I really wanted that. He even wanted it. Yeah, Mark wanted it.
He was like, "Here I come!" Oh wait.
It's like, "Here I come!" Oh, Rey. He was annoyed. That was a good fight, though. That Rey and Kylo was pretty. It was a pretty good fight. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm all about that stuff. Dragonite says he would like to see Sam Witwer play Starkiller in live action. Did you ever play The Force Unleashed?
Oh yes, I played it. I played maybe halfway through the story of the first one. I got the second one, but I don't think I played it that much. But I would love to see, and I know how it ends or whatever. I saw online and stuff how there's like different endings and stuff. But I think it would be interesting. But I think what they would have to do, because some people are mentioning how like by the canon, it would really retcon some things that were set in stone. So people are saying he should be what's it called? They're like Night Sisters. There's like
the Inquisitors.
Yeah, people are saying he could be a secret Inquisitor that is secretly his apprentice. They could pull off something like that, but I feel like it'd be too much because they have boldly, after Disney bought Star Wars, they have boldly stuck with the rule of 2. So having Starkiller at this point pop up in some sort of capacity, and he's an Inquisitor, but he's secretly Vader's apprentice. it would kind of break what they've set up before Disney bought them out, and then when Disney bought them out, continued that same path of rule of two.
Yeah.
So it would kind of break that. So
yeah. I'd be intrigued if they could restructure the story, I guess, because I know like when you play Force Unleashed, like it's a fun story for sure, but it's definitely very OP Force ability based.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't think fits traditionally in the Star Wars themes at their best. But if you were to like restructure stuff, and even like if you were to like shift some timeline stuff, maybe, because I know that in the old like EU canon, they had Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
And that was after the original trilogy, but then they put him into new canon now, but it's
The Rebels. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
they could do something like that. I mean, they could do something to where Starkiller, maybe Starkiller was a Jedi. I mean, we've had a couple of Jedi who survive Order 66, but I mean that is probable. It's not like it's impossible, because Order 66 killed a lot of Jedi, but there's a lot of Padawans that may have not been picked up, that could have not been attacked or could not have been even found, so they were safe. Like, it's reasonable to think that that's a possibility, because the galaxy is so vast. There had to be Padawans or potential Padawans, Force users, that are not been touched by anything that survive. So they could easily do a Starkiller situation, or change the name and have Sam Witwer play that, and then essentially he's around the time of the original trilogy, but he's off doing stuff and he's not being a Jedi. In a sense, you could do something like that, but I don't know. I think people would have an issue with it, because clearly they're like, "Oh, this is clearly Starkiller," but they're retconning it and changing it, and he's not even Starkiller. So, that's what I think, that if they were to do something like that.
Yeah, if I were to try to fit him into canon, I think what I'd do is I would restructure his story, probably go the Inquisitor route, but probably put him in the time between because they basically, like with all their Star Wars comics, they covered all the time between episode 4 and 5. So I'd probably stick them in between like 5 and 6, because that's pretty unexplored time.
Yeah, there's a couple of years, right, in between that, I think.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot they could do there. Just don't have him interacting with Luke or Leia or Han. I feel like that'd be like just too much adding in, because it's like, okay, but now you're wondering, like, if Luke met another Force user, hypothetically, Starkiller, in between 5 and 6, why didn't you mention them in 6? Because they can't. It's already been filmed. They can't go back and add that stuff in, because that would be really weird if they made a major change in the canon, and then all of a sudden they have to go back in and add a digital little thing here to add in, oh, he knew who this kid was. Like, it would just be stupid.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But if you were to just keep him like with Vader specific stuff on different sidelines, you could pull that off.
Yeah, I mean, Vader having a secret apprentice, or Vader just training another Inquisitor or something. Yeah, I mean, it could work, Yeah, because he sent Inquisitors. He didn't do a lot of the dirty work. He only did it when it was necessary. I mean, because when we at the end of Siege of Lothal Part 2 in Rebels, he's talking to the Emperor. The Emperor tells him to send an Inquisitor or something, and tells Vader to step back. So Vader could have easily just continued on and went after the Rebels, but he was told to stand down.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible to think of there's a person out there that is doing his bidding that we don't see or hear from.
Oh yeah. Fernando had also brought up he could potentially be a surviving Padawan of Order 66. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that easily.
Yeah, which I'm excited to see how they'll play that era once they get there this season of Clone Wars.
Yeah, because I'm hearing that they'll cover Order 66 in a different. I wonder how that's gonna look. Like, oh boy, it's gonna be interesting.
I know we're probably gonna get like different points of view, but I'm excited to see like the different people that will pop up.
Yeah, like, because we'll see Dave Filoni's interpretation of that day, and not George's. So we'll see how Dave does it differently.
Yeah, so I imagine they'll showcase some different Jedi we didn't see before. I know that we're gonna have like Ahsoka, and I'm pretty sure there's been spots of like Kanan as a youngling.
Oh yeah. Tie that in.
That'll be exciting. I want to know if they would. Did you ever get to play Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd be excited if they were able to get Cal's character in there too,
Okay.
since like because that's also like translated voice work, so it could be
Yeah,
possible to
it
achieve.
could work. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm especially excited to see like how the clones we follow will be affected by the Order 66.
That is the big question. How are they going to respond to being told to take out the Jedi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's going to be horrible because Rex and Cody are so close, but we know Cody's like the first clone you see on screen to turn.
Mm, I don't know. Hmm.
It's exciting times for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
What is your how did you feel about this whole Bad Batch arc now that it wrapped up?
I think it was overall pretty interesting. I like the fact that they were a they were literally the Bad Batch, and had different abilities, and that they stood out. But for me, it's like, I like the Clone Wars. I like the variety of storytelling. But for me, once a new Clone Wars was coming back and they were teasing some of the stuff and the Maul and Ahsoka, I want to get straight to that stuff. So I think it's interesting how they start off the Bad Batch in 4 episodes, but at least we saw the returning characters for the most part. Some of them are doing some stuff. The 4th episode, I think, was the best just because of the action and how cinematic it felt. But I'm ready for Ahsoka. I'm ready to see some more Maul. I'm ready to see, you know, all the variety of characters. Like following the clones, it made sense because it's the Clone Wars. We followed these characters all these years. We're introduced to this Bad Batch. But I'm ready to see more of Anakin, more of Obi-Wan, seeing Ahsoka. I want to see more of that stuff that they really expanded on so much in the Clone Wars that really helped, I think, flesh out the movies more. Because once you know more of the story, then you understand more of where they're at when you watch
Yeah,
the movies. So
yeah. I'm especially all about connectivity, especially when you're dealing with prequel stories to what we
oh
already
yeah.
know. So one of my favorite parts of this arc was the last episode, just seeing more of Anakin's dark nature.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that was interesting to watch for sure. I mean, his face when he first goes in that room, that was not a Jedi. That's not a
Yeah,
Jedi. That is Anakin on the brink of, and then he stabs him. And
yeah,
like, then he doesn't blow it up, but yeah, he gives the guy to blow it up.
yeah,
So, you know.
yeah. It's yeah, it's great seeing that stuff. Yeah, Brandon saying he hopes that none of the Bad Batch have any of the inhibitor chips that are going to make them turn.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they do at this
I had
point.
I had a previous theory that was I think the inhibitor chips, just based on how they were, I think they're specifically designed to be biomechanical in a way that it's compatible to every clone. And since the Bad Batch are essentially defective clones, that maybe the chips wouldn't be compatible. So maybe they don't
It wouldn't be
work.
effective. I mean, they don't follow anybody's rule, essentially.
Yeah,
So yeah, they may not have it, or if they do, it doesn't work. So
yeah. Which I'm excited to see how it was great to see Echo join their crew as well.
oh yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't expecting that but like right before he does, he's like, if you feel like you're with them, you should. Then he joins immediately. There's no waiting. I guess because there's no time. There's no time to build on if will he, won't he. So just send him. You know.
Oh yeah. And one of the other like connective tissues I hope that they tackle is Grievous's kidnapping of the Chancellor.
Oh yeah.
I would like to see the huge launch of the invasion on Coruscant and launching into the capital.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do, or at least we have some sort of connection to that, because if we're getting to Order 66 within the 3rd film, you can't bypass a big moment where the Chancellor gets kidnapped.
Right.
He can't.
And that is like such a pivotal combination, like in the film too, because you have not just Palpatine there, but you got Dooku, and Obi-Wan and Grievous. Like they're such big players in Clone Wars altogether.
Mm-hmm.
I'd argue like the entire opening of Revenge of the Sith feels like its own Clone Wars episode.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if they'll do it it'd be funny if they did an episode just retelling that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they'll definitely have to do something because if you bypass that, then it's gonna be seen like, well, why did you bypass a major event that really turns the tide for, you know, for the Jedi to fall? Is this moment where they're being invaded? The Chancellor's missing. You know, you can't forget that. It's very important.
I think what they'll do this season is like we're gonna hit the point where we're gonna be at the same time as Revenge of the Sith, but we're gonna hit points in the scene where characters are gonna set up to take off to the scenes that we know. Like I'm sure Anakin and Obi-Wan will launch their fighters to kick off Revenge of the Sith, but we'll follow a different character, probably Ahsoka, on her side of things.
Interesting.
During that time.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because we already know what they do. So
yeah, and I know like seeing there was in the trailer the holograph table where it was the same scene from Revenge of the Sith with Mace Windu and Yoda talking to other Jedi. Except in the movie, like they're physically there, but the trailer shot we got is their hologram form. So we're in a different point at the same time.
Yeah, so we're seeing who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So let's see. I'm really excited for that. I'm really because like once you show me that stuff in a trailer, I'm like just get to that because I want to see more of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely hoping that the final episode could tackle a scene or two of a new Vader experience, like after he's been suited up now.
Okay. I didn't think about that, but now I want that. Now I want that so bad.
It'll be real exciting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting into Rebels, which is fantastic. There's so much cool stuff. There's so much cool canon stuff that just expands on so much.
Seeing Lando in there was interesting. I wasn't expecting to see Lando, but like, hey, okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of fun surprises of a bunch of different characters, old and new. Yeah. So what season? Where you finished season 1?
Yeah, I finished season 1. I reacted to the Siege of Lothal Part 1 and Part 2, and that's where I'm at right now. I didn't continue past that.
Okay, well, you're definitely in for a ride.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know the most stuff that happens based off Twitter, but like I don't know when it happens, and there's some stuff I don't know because I didn't know Lando was in it. I didn't realize, like I kind of figured that Ahsoka was Fulcrum, but I wasn't sure, and I was not sure they went that direction of where Ahsoka pretty much, like people are saying she doesn't know yet, but it's kind of obvious she starts to suspect that Vader is somebody that she knew or something, and it's eating at me. I'm like, she knows. Maybe not fully, but come on, there's no way. The way she's like lying about how she's feeling and the look on her face, it's clear as day that she knows something's up.
Right.
So I'm really excited about that. Love Ahsoka.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Sacktown Kings Tyler says, you might be the only Star Wars fan that prefers Rebels over Clone Wars. Loves characters in that show. No, not true. I would actually, one of our co-hosts, primarily on the podcast, his name's Evan. He thinks Rebels is the best of them. And honestly, like looking back, it's not hard it's not hard to agree with them because there is so much cool stuff that happens. And Clone Wars just enriches it, especially moving forward. Yeah, because Clone Wars focusing on so many different characters, and Rebels has the set crew, with a few exceptions. So I understand that idea because on Clone Wars, you don't know what to expect going into an episode. You don't know where you're going to go. With Rebels, you have a good idea based on how they've kind of structured it differently with the Ghost crew. So, yeah. So if you were to pitch an idea of a Star Wars project, what would be something you would explore, whether it's based on an existing character or story or a new concept? I've already done this twice now. Well, technically 3. We split the 2. For me personally, I would love
I would love to see, because I know how Rebels ends.
Mhm.
I would like to see what Ahsoka's been doing the original trilogy. Now, there is a rumor that they're going to be announcing a sequel to Star Wars Rebels, and
Right.
it's taking place after the events of the original trilogy, which I think that's really cool. But for me, I would love to see, whether it's a mini series or something, or a season, I would love to see what Ahsoka and I guess Sabine, since they're together at the end,
Yeah.
what their journey is during the original trilogy. That's what I'd like to know, because like clearly they're fighting the war, but what is Ahsoka doing specifically? Because
Yeah.
Ahsoka's got to be kind of hidden away. Like Ahsoka can't go out there to bold lightsabers and going crazy and like she can't do that. So
Right.
I wonder what she was doing, how she was helping, because she had to have been helping, but what was she doing specifically?
Yeah.
So
And you said you had known how Rebels ends. This doesn't necessarily like go into like what happens, but it does conclude. It basically the events you follow conclude before episode 4, but then you kind of get
yeah, you get that scene after the events of the original trilogy,
yeah,
and they mentioned they're going to go try to find Ezra, which is
yeah,
lost somewhere. I'm like, oh, okay. I
yeah,
don't know, but okay, he's lost somewhere. Okay, let's go get him. I don't know.
yeah. But it is unexplored time for Ahsoka, even in the original trilogy as well. So I'm not even sure what she does there, but I'm intrigued to know that.
But I mean, if they're doing this show, the rumor is they're doing this show after the events of the original trilogy, who's to say there's not flashbacks to kind of showcase what they were doing during the original trilogy? They could
Oh,
still
yeah.
cover that. We'll see. I don't know. I'm hoping that happens.
So somebody brought up interesting. Dragon Knight wants to see what Maul has been doing, and that kind of goes back into Clone Wars because we're gonna run into him in Clone Wars, and the next point in his time that we see on screen was in Solo, and he was at the height of a crime syndicate at that point. So I'm intrigued if Clone Wars is going to go into his rise up into that, maybe like a startup.
Maybe, yeah. And there's rumors of them doing a sequel to Solo, like the events for a Disney Plus show, and bringing back Kira. Is that her name?
Yeah,
Kira, Emilia Clarke. She needs a win after Game of Thrones botched the ending, and potentially even Alden Ehrenreich as Solo. Who knows?
yeah,
But like, I think that'd be really interesting because like you've already established a really cool arc potential at the end of Solo. Some sort of continuation would be great, even if it's a Kira show.
yeah,
It ties into Maul. We can see Maul again. That's what I want.
absolutely.
So, oh yeah,
Yeah, a lot of us, our whole crew here, we've been following. There's been a big movement for to make Solo 2 happen. And because it's a really fun time, a lot of us felt, and I would definitely love to see more of the adventure of, because they also set up with Han and Chewie, they're gonna go to Jabba and get their first job, and
yeah,
for people who also would want more Boba Fett content, you could totally introduce them there as well.
yeah. Because I mean, they just introduced me in the original trilogy. There's got to be a starting point for him and Han to kind
Right.
of which I thought they were going to do something like that in Solo, but they didn't. I feel like Solo was set up to be more than just that one-off. Like there was potential to do so much more. The box office came back, and so with Disney Plus, you can make a profit because a lot of people are saying, hey, regardless of how Solo performed, you got to continue it. You got to do something because there's a lot of story that's left on the table that you set up as a sequel, and then yeah.
Absolutely. Want to address Fernando's comment here. He said he'd love to see Kira at the end of Clone Wars for a quick cameo to see how she knows Maul. Factor with that, that would entirely depend on where you go with the timeline, because by the start of Solo, Kira is still stuck on Corellia with Han.
Yeah.
So you'd have to jump to the point where Solo takes, but which is a whole 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, well, there you go. Let's say that a massive time jump.
Yeah, like
Which
10 years.
Yeah, they probably won't do that. But I do like what you're thinking, though. I do like that idea of like tying in different pieces of canon into Clone Wars, because Clone Wars has done so much for expanding on stuff and introducing stuff. I mean, if it wasn't for Clone Wars, we wouldn't have Ahsoka,
Absolutely.
So Yeah.
which was still great. That um her character and Kanan's and like so many like expanded Jedi were able to get some voice in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah. I mean that definitely is, I think, that like something that I wasn't expecting to hear Ahsoka's voice in a live action movie. I'm like, it's close. I want her in live action, but it's okay. Because my thing is, if they do Ahsoka in live action, which is a possibility, whether it's TV, it's not going to look like Ahsoka in the show, so it's probably going to disappoint me a little bit. I love that character so much, and I just feel like it's not going to be the same. And the thing is, Ashley Eckstein would probably not play the character in live action, so the voice would be different, and she'll look different. I'll be like, "Ew."
Yeah, it would be jarring for sure.
I think they did a great job because the different animation from Clone Wars to Rebels, where they made her older, and like I think it worked. Like instantly when I saw her, I'm like, I didn't go, it's a little weird. I went, yes, that is adult Ahsoka. Love it.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's great points where you'll see a hologram of a Clone Wars character in Rebels, and just the translation, the animation, like it's not jarring whatsoever. It flows pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I think they did a great job because I know there was like some legal issue I think with Cartoon Network that they had to redesign.
Oh really? So that's why it looks different?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's stupid though, but whatever.
It is, but
I think the animation for Clone Wars final season looks smooth. Like it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can't complain.
Pretty fantastic. So you are somewhat of a filmmaker yourself. Yeah, in this Star Wars realm.
Yeah.
You want to dive into your conception and execution of your Star Wars series?
Well, let's see. I have to give credit where credit is due. I watched Crisis on was it Crisis on Fandom Earths 2? It's
Crisis on FR Earths.
FR Earths, yeah. I always forget which one it is. I watched their sequel, and I've said in the video that it inspired me to want to do something. But I didn't want to copy what they were doing or do something like that. I don't know why I landed on Star Wars, because it's hard. But I landed on Star Wars. I sat down with my director, Carson, who I've been working with, who I've known for a long time. But we sat down December of 2017, and he was just there just to catch up, but also just to hear my ideas. He wasn't going to direct it. He wasn't going to do it. He was just going to, whatever.
Right.
So it went from that to we started filming Darth Zahn in 2018 in the summer, put it out in November of that year. Then we filmed Master Kythe, The Dark Path, as it's split into two. But we filmed the entirety of Master Kythe, and then we're slowly in the process of getting part 2 ready of what we filmed last year, summer. I just had this idea, like it popped in my head of this idea of a master and a Padawan. And I didn't want it to where the Padawan completely rejects his master based off the master's training. And I also didn't want where the dark side lures him in completely, and that's the only thing. I wanted it to be a mixture. I would definitely go back and make changes based off how Darth Zahn's written, just to kind of add more depth to him changing.
Yeah.
But that idea, that concept never changed. The names came after, but the concept really didn't change. It was the Padawan leaving. And then as I built on it, and the more I kept writing, the more I found ways to kind of enhance and kind of build on the concept. And what I like most is that this was a happy accident. So Master Cilia, which, spoiler alert, not really, she's my sister.
Right.
Master Cilia was supposed to be my master and die at the end of Darth Zahn.
Oh.
But the person who I asked to play Master Cilia, who was my master, then also was supposed to be my mother, that we reveal at the very last minute as she's dying, my mother. I asked a coworker at the time to play, and she said yes, and she dropped out because she had some medical stuff, so she couldn't do it.
Okay.
So we gave the role to Carson's girlfriend, Sydney, and then we switched it up. And then we thought sister, because it still ties in, but we let's not kill her. Let's not kill her, because we barely see her. Right. So we don't kill her, and then we built more off that. And now with Master Kythe, we've in part 1, The Dark Path, we go more in on Barrett. We have a lot more of Cilia. We have a lot more intertwining story. And once you see part 2, you'll see the full scale of what I was trying to do. And
Yeah.
I know you're going to freak out. It's insane. But it's been really hard, but it's been fun. And it's really cool to kind of introduce new concepts. That's why I introduced the bounty hunter in Master Cut the Dark Path. And then, you'll see what happens in part 2. But I wanted to introduce more of different things because we didn't have blasters in Darts On. It just wasn't a thing. Now we have bounty hunters. We have characters that I established Darts On now have names. They're just intertwined. They're not being reintroduced. But it's been crazy. We've met a lot of cool people on the way. We brought some friends in who we've known for a long time to play these parts. And yeah, I'm really excited to kind of wrap it up in the finale. I'm really excited for part 2 to come out, and then you guys can see the finale after that.
Yeah.
And then put a little bow on top, and then we're done. And we're going to move on to original stuff. But I'm glad you like it, because I would not hear the end of it from you if you were like, man, you got so much crap wrong. I don't like what you're doing here. This makes no sense. Because you've asked a couple times, what timeline are you guys in? It's obviously before the prequels, but where are you guys at right now? I'm like, I don't know. We're somewhere before the prequels, before Palpatine, before Plagueis. I don't know.
Sure.
Where it's like an Elseworlds tell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you have any questions for like specifics of something, because you kept like freaking out about certain stuff in the Dark Path. You're like, well, I wasn't expecting that. What are you doing? So I'm curious, like, you have free reign. What do you got for me, sir?
Well, I think I was most intrigued with the aspect with Darth On and his mother.
Okay. So
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was something that I came up with this character that I wanted to introduce in Master Kythe, and the name hit me, Sabura. Didn't come from a name generator, which I use a lot of name generators to kind of find name ideas and kind of go from there. Sure. Sabura just popped in my head, and then it kind of built into something like that. Now, there's stuff that gets revealed in part 2, you'll see, but it's something to where I wanted to introduce another aspect of Zahn, because what you saw in Zahn was just a dark Sith Lord, and that's all he was. I wanted to add layers. I wanted him have someone that confronts him, questions him, and kind of makes you understand why he is, like, who he is. Like, why is he like this?
Yeah.
So Carson knew Trissa, who plays Sabura beautifully. She is so good. She is a theater actor. So, like, she was trying to understand the concept of, you're not on a stage. The audience isn't out here. The audience is that camera, wherever it's positioned. But it took her a little bit. But man, when she came to play, and she destroyed. Like, I think she's the best person we've ever worked with in terms of acting, because she just got it perfectly. So I really liked her a lot.
Oh yeah, fantastic. She did wonderful. I think they had also kind of left some ambiguity, but in regard to also Zahn's father, I think.
Yeah, and you hear his voice in part 1. I mean, I wish I could just call Master Kythe, but we split it, so I got to get used to the fact that, and I got to be careful of not saying anything about part 2. He's in the middle of working on part 2 right now, and he's like not rushing, but he's getting a lot of work done, which is good because we need it out. Yeah, that was something that was late in the game. I came up with this name, Lord Pralix, and I didn't want Darth Pralix because, like, we've already have a Darth Zahn, so Lord Pralix. Yeah, the guy, he is phenomenal. His voice is so good, and I wanted to add that other element too, because I wanted to kind of show another layer of Zahn in terms of his fear, and not so much because what he shows to others is this dark-hearted, no emotion, just cold human being. But then you find out about the Sabura and her aspect and all of it, and how he got immediately terrified of hearing that voice, Lord Pralix. So I wanted to add that into the mix to kind of add more to his character, because that's something that we got critiqued on heavily, was that there wasn't a lot of pull in terms of Barrett deciding what to do. We didn't really learn a lot about Darth Zahn, the name of the movie. So I wanted to add that, and I was hoping that people would respond well to it, because we add so much more to Darzon that he doesn't act like a different character, but you see a lot more than what I even hinted at in the first one. Yeah. So, but it seems like people responded well, so I think we're good.
Oh yeah.
For now, we'll see. See how part 2, because I'm trying to remember like certain stuff in part 2. I'm thinking, oh, that happens and that happens. In traditional fashion, twists are coming.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be blindsided on camera.
You will be. Also, I already know how it ends too. I already know how this whole story ends. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
And I'm still tricky with names, but I think our main boy we follow under Master Kite's lineage apprentice is Barrett.
Barrett.
Right. And who plays Barrett?
Logan plays him. Yeah.
Dude crushes it every time. It's insane.
He does. He's really good, and like when I was coming up with the characters, he was somebody that was on our mind. And he came to play, and he really knocked it out of the park. And I think he really liked the fact that he was playing a dark character, because I feel like if it was just Barrett being a Padawan and he's not going to the dark side, he's just a good guy, I think he would still enjoy it, but it wouldn't be the same. Like once I told him it's kind of like the Anakin route, he's like, oh, okay. He instantly jumped on board. That phone call turned from, oh, you're doing Star Wars? Okay, to I gotta play. I'm playing it. Like there's no question. I am playing Barrett. I'm like, okay. So, and we did a good job collaborating too, because he helped me with some of the lines for Barrett, especially in terms of the fire pit scene in Darzon, and then for Master Kite the Dark Path, to kind of make it to where he's not going to be treated like a kid or a Padawan from Sabura. So right. That's something really we really wanted to work on. So Fernando freaking out in the chat about the movies.
Oh yeah. He actually just said he was great.
Joe Chill was good too. Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
fantastic stuff. So interesting swaying of the topic. Since given as we were addressing timelines, it's kind of functioning-esque in like the same way that Star Wars is going to be introducing their new High Republic era.
Yeah, I mean it could. Yeah, because. The concept I wanted to do, because I know we could not do something like Coruscant. It just wouldn't work. It'd be too difficult to try to pull something off that. So I came up with the idea of them having a secret temple on Hethia and Zon. That gets destroyed, and now we're on Zuria. So the idea is that there's a secret hidden temple with Jedi and Padawan training, because what I really didn't think about this too much at the time, but then it was brought up by several people as we're in the process of doing these films, that this is kind of what they were trying to prevent, like in Revenge of the Sith, when Coruscant falls, Order 66, we have a secret temple hidden away that in the case of something like that happening to Coruscant, we are off over here. So we're able to prevent that, or to try to evade that type of assault. Like there's always the possibility, because the idea I was setting up Zahn and his forces, and then with Sabura, and then the whole idea of Lord Parallax before that, it's a very dangerous time, and the war's been going on for so long that Master Yoda set this temple up as a secret, or set up the idea of these temples to keep a certain amount of Jedi and Padawan away from a potential attack like that, which it comes to whole logistics. Well, who gets sent over there? It's not important. The important part is that it's a thing that we set up. So,
it was also interesting when you had Yoda pop up.
Yes. There's an interesting story about that. So, I wanted Yoda, and I was looking for Yoda impressionist, and I found Pitmaster Broda, who's a big guy who's over social media. He responded pretty quick saying yes, he would do it. We had a guy that had actually contacted me when I did a live stream when I was announcing I was doing this project, and this was way before we started filming or whatever. Yeah. He said that he could do a 3D model of Yoda and have like a behind the scenes shot, like you see his head in the shot moving a little bit, but have the voiceover overlaying it. So that's what we did. We shot up close shots of Logan for Darson, some faraway shots where Yoda could be placed in. The guy got the footage. He never sent anything back with it. He sent me rough test of a 3D model of Yoda, because we were gonna have a dark room in a sense, and it would be kind of in the dark, so we kind of make the 3D kind of hide a little bit.
Sure.
But he didn't do anything, so we had to go the alternate route of where Yoda's reaching out through the Force to talk to Barrett. That's the only thing we could do. We made it work, but yeah. So, and who knows? Who knows? Maybe Yoda returns. Ooh, who knows? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Tune in, find out.
Yeah. I try to help you out, but at best I have a Yoda Pez dispenser.
Yeah, gotcha. There was one point of discussing of a mask where it's still behind the scene shot of the mask and kind of hiding it. That's still maybe a possibility, but I can confirm to you that has not been filmed or even attempted yet. So it may not, but I think regardless, I just like the fact that we're able to have Yoda in it, because I mean he was alive for so long, we can just make it work. So, we're just having fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to put any hassle of any more on the production, but have you guys ever thought of implementing any droid designs?
No, I think because we have no budget. Our budget is what we can afford.
It's tricky,
Yeah, it is. And also people have asked about alien races or like alien human characters in a sense where they, it's difficult, and I don't think we could pull it off. And what we're trying to do is to try to tell this long formatted story and to not overblow it with so many things. And what we're working on right now, what we're doing is we're going to be focusing on original shorts. So once the finale comes out, that's essentially it for us for Star Wars, because it's a lot of work. And with shorts, we shot Gordon, that DC short film we did in 2019. We shot that in 3 days, the whole thing in 3 days, and put it out within the same month of shooting it. So we want to go that route and do some more of that and do original stuff that we can put into festivals. But I like the fact that people are responding to the Star Wars stuff, and that some people are saying it's better than Disney Star Wars. So, I mean, I guess we're doing something right.
Sure.
But, we're trying our best to tell a story that can happen in Star Wars, but also to kind of flip the script in a sense. And just we gave Celia a purple lightsaber, which only Mace Windu has a purple lightsaber, but whatever.
Anything's possible with your imagination.
Yes.
And the right VFX,
Yeah, the visual effects is tricky too. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Chat here. David Hasselhoff, bring up a point.
Darson getting encountered by his parents was amazing. His father called him a child, and then he doesn't know the true powers. Yeah, that's something I wanted to throw in too, because Zahn, and even Sabura even questioned it. Don't question you would know what Lord Pralix would do, like in terms of the war with the Jedi and all that. I wanted it to where Zahn is doing what he thinks is the right move, but then when Lord Pralix says he's a child and he will fall, and he falls to his knees. Yeah, maybe you're not right. Maybe you think you know what you're doing, but you don't know what you're doing.
Oh.
I wanted there to be questions about that. So, yeah.
Connor Murphy's asking if this live stream will be up there. Yes, it will. All my live streams stay up immediately after, and they're always viewable. So no worries about that.
There you go. Good. It better be. Jeez. A lot of work goes in these live streams.
Oh yeah. It's bouncing back and forth. It's a fascinating time. I realized how messy I was actually handling this, because I was kind of scrambling of like what my next topic would be.
Oh.
So we definitely filled a good amount of runtime though, and it has been about an hour, which I did assure you and your fiance would be.
Yes.
So I think we'll wrap it up here. But this was a great first attempt for the one-on-one section.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely would have you on any more time if you wanted to.
Just let me
Plenty of
know. I would
plenty of
definitely have to come back on once part 2 comes out so that you can ask more questions, because you have questions for part 1, but trust me, once you watch part 2 and see, we literally were up till 2 in the morning shooting the most craziest fight scene we've ever done, and this is like miles ahead of compared to what we've done so far. So once you see that, and then other stuff that we did, which is some pretty big moments, I think you're gonna have a lot of questions. Like, what in the crap is happening?
Oh yeah, it's definitely definitely exciting. But yeah, there'll be plenty of Star Wars talk about future and even past because there's so much content.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but with that being said, where could the good people find you?
Chainsaw Reacts, Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff. YouTube, of course, Chainsaw Reacts. Post a variety of content, Arrowverse stuff, Flash, Batwoman, Supergirl, Arrow before it died, and all that fun stuff. And I do films, and we're working on original stuff, and who knows where it goes. Stay safe out there, everybody. Stay safe during the crisis we're in right now.
Absolutely, everybody stay safe. Everybody stay healthy. But with that being said, that concludes the episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if not already. But with that being said, this is a great time, Jordan. Great having you on.
No problem. No problem.
And with that being said, hope you guys have a great day. And may the force be with you always.
Always.